But the biggest pleasure in all of this is to meet women like you.
Oh,
You are the leader
Thank
of
you.
today, not even tomorrow. It's like what you're doing is awesome, and other women should know about it. Today we're in Seoul, South Korea, speaking with female millennial entrepreneur Gaby Shin. Journey, I know we had a brief, actually pretty good conversation about your story and you know how you grew up in Mexico and came back to Korea, and you've kind of been back and forth. But we didn't talk about how you became an entrepreneur and your journey to being an entrepreneur. So can you tell me a little bit about your story on how you went from pre-entrepreneur to entrepreneur?
Yeah, it was definitely a long journey. When I came from Mexico to Korea, the reason why I came to Korea was to go to university. And I didn't really choose to come to Korea, but it was my parents who told me I was becoming too Mexican. So yeah, so they sent me back and said, "Yeah, we are going back to Korea soon, so you should, just go to college and get used to Korean life." So that's what I did, and I tried really hard to graduate, and I didn't take any breaks. So I graduated after 4 years, and then my first job was at the Argentinian embassy as a secretary for the ambassador of Argentina.
Very cool.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting or aiming for that job. I didn't even know what I want to do. My major was political science. I always wanted to help others and get connected with the world, but I really didn't know what to do and what I was gonna do. All I knew was that I wanted to help someone and be greater than I could be. But the first job I took, the secretary job, it was definitely not the job I wanted. So I quit after like 4 months, and then I didn't know what to do. So I took a little break, and I started to get some contacts from magazines to translate their articles, like English articles, to Korean. So I started to work on those, and I thought, well, maybe this is a calling. Like maybe I should do translation and interpretation job. And then I was freelancing, but in Korea there's no concept as freelance.
Huh.
They know what it is freelance, but if someone is a freelancer, they will take it as, oh, she or he's not working for a company, she's just lame loser, she's just always at home. I think that's the general idea of how they perceive it. Unless you're really famous and you are at the magazine, they say, oh, that's the freelancer life. But the usual freelancer, it's not like that, right?
Okay, so most Koreans want you to have your office job. And
yeah, exactly. That's what they expect. So my cousins and my grandma, aunties, everyone started to ask me about, like, why aren't you getting a proper job? So I was really stressed. I was loving this free life, just spending a few hours on work and getting paid. So I was happy, but then I was young and I wanted to prove myself to others that I could get a nice job at the big company. And I saw this job opening in Samsung Engineering as a translator.
Okay.
So I just randomly sent the CV, took the test, and I got the job. So I was I think one of the first among my friends and colleagues to get a really good job.
Wow.
Because they were still studying at the college, because they would take breaks before graduating.
And you just went straight.
Yeah, so I was the first one to work and then the people started to look at me differently because I was working for Samsung. But the first day at work, the people were great and everything, but what I saw was that there's no life in that office. everyone is really tired. Everyone is there doing overtime, crazy hours, and it was just not what I was looking for. So I was getting depressed. The work itself was good, and people, they're really nice. We're still friends and all that, but it was just not for me, the office life. So I quit, and I decided to be more professional. So I went to grad school for translation and interpretation.
Wow.
To become.
So you're a professional with a master's translator.
Yeah, exactly. So I took the test, and luckily the question was related to engineering business. So I was really lucky because usually people study a lot of years to get in. But I was so lucky. I was very, familiarized with those themes. So I got in. So without thinking about what I really want to do, I was just building my career to become someone professional and like stable. So I would do interpretation and translation time to time, but I was never really happy during the MA study. But, someone's got to make a living, so I was just doing for my future. Then before graduating, I got a job offer from a news agency for translation. So before considering what I really wanted to do, I started working again. So it was just working. And I wasn't really satisfied with the job. It was really nice. One of the biggest news agency in Korea, and I was getting really well paid and all that, but I wasn't really happy. Then I saw this opening in Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the opportunity of internship in Washington, D.C. So I applied, and I was really lucky. There was not many applicants. Yeah. So, and I could speak really good Spanish. And this internship was for the Organization of American States. So you have to speak really good Spanish. So I was in better position than others. So I got the position. I went to Washington, D.C. and I was really excited because I thought that was what I've always wanted. Something international, and it's a non-profit. It was built to help Latin American country. So I thought, yeah, finally, I'm in the scene. So I was really happy, but the reality over there was not quite as I imagined. I guess I'm a really active person, but that job was in the office.
Bureaucratic.
Exactly.
Red tape.
Yes.
Process. You can't change much.
Yes, exactly. I see these people starving. They don't have access to anything. But all I did was writing about this right to access to public information, blah, blah, blah. But they don't even know how to write their name. I'm pretty sure they're not even registered. Not every Latin American, but like some countries, they have this problem. I was feeling really sarcastic a bit, and disappointed of not about the organization at their job, but just, I guess, the reality of everything.
I can totally relate. I had this romantic view of what government and international could be, and you could make the world a better place.
Yes, exactly.
And then you go. And I mean, I told you, right? I worked in D.C. And I worked at the Pentagon, and for IBM. And I saw the same thing, and I said, wow, I don't think I can change the world through government.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I think maybe you could, but once you become really influential
after like 40 years of going through the hierarchy.
Exactly, but otherwise you really can't. So I said, okay, I don't see any future in this. Maybe I should volunteer directly. So I after the internship, I went to Mexico to visit my parents. And also I did a short-term volunteering for sea turtles.
Oh,
That was really random, but I just wanted to travel. And
there are sea turtles in Mexico?
yeah,
Where?
they're for both side of the Mexico coast, like the Gulf and the Pacific side, they have sea turtles. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, there's only 7 species left in the world, and 6 of them goes to Mexico to offspring.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went there and I also wanted to enjoy the beach and all that because it was the Caribbean side near Cancun. But I wanted to do something sustainable and also something good. So I went there, and what shocked me was that all the volunteers, they were all women. They're all women, and I realized the parts that government can cover, these volunteers, volunteering projects, they're covering their holes, I guess, and women are there in the action of doing it. I think that it really touched me. I really didn't know before. I only saw this article from the magazine, this actress going to Africa to do something, and I was like, everyone does that. But when I went there, I thought it was just PR. But when I went there and to see this, they really lack of good service, like infrastructure. So to take a bath, you have to get a bucket of water. So eventually what I did was when the rain was falling really hard, I would wear bikini and go out and take rain shower. Cause that's how hard it is to get a proper bath. There's no hot water, there's nothing, so and I did it just for 2 weeks and it was so hard, but these girls, they do it for 9 months at least. That's their job, and I think that those women are those that make the world go. It was really, really inspiring. They put environment issue before their personal matters. They're really devoted. I think they are the real heroes of humanity, not only for environmental issue, but I bet it's same for Africa, or I don't know, like when chaos or natural disaster happens, those people that go and help, I think those are the real help.
I agree with you, and I've done quite a bit of volunteering myself, and that is what I see as well, that a lot of the volunteers are women. Women care.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to say men don't, but it seems to me that there are a lot of women that go out and take action.
Exactly. So. That surprised me a lot, and when I came back to Korea, I started to volunteer again, and this time was in a NGO that they sell donated things, and the proceeds goes to social development program, and they have a used bookstore. So I started to see the price of the children's book, and I thought children's book were cheap because I have no children, right? So I wouldn't know. But when I was like working, I realized that children's books are extremely expensive. The cheapest one is like $11, like in US currency it would be like 11 to 15. And then I started to think, if you're not a wealthy parent, you can even give your child proper education or the least sources to give them a little help for imagination. And I think it's really important during the childhood to have that. And I think so I thought I should start doing something. And my sister at the time, she was donating to unwed women network in Korea. So I thought, okay, maybe I should give these books to unwed mothers because they're very isolated and ignored by the society, especially in Korea. because I think in Korea, the
Single mothers are
Yeah.
not as.
we don't even call them single mother. It's unwed woman. So it's very discriminating, and I think it's
Wow.
very disturbing to call them unwed mothers, and their children. It's also called like unwed mother's kid. So they have this label forever. I think it's really
Oh.
horrible. So, and at
That's
that
really
time,
sad.
yeah, there was this baby box. This the young woman or even old woman who had a child without being married, they're scared, so they will leave their baby into this box,
Oh.
and the baby is taken care by this organization who put the box. So it's really sad, right? It was the huge news at the beginning of
What
the
was it
year.
called? The
Baby box. I think it was
Wow.
the first one to put it. I think it was a pastor.
Imagine these kids growing up and knowing they were box babies.
Yes, exactly. So I thought I should do something and let them know that these women, they were really, they had the balls to have their children, but then they're being discriminated by their courageousness, you know? And I thought they should not feel left alone. So that's why I started to think of donating a children's book. And since my sister was, her major is design, so I thought, well, maybe we should start a business. So we create this YOLO bag. Every time I sell a bag, I buy a children book from that used bookstore. So people are donating at two places. Through me, they're donating to this NGO, that House for Social Development Program, and then a children book to unwed mothers. So that was the idea, and it's been
Wow.
fun. It's been fun. I never thought I would do something like this, but it's fun.
That is such a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And that you're helping, I mean, that you're a social conscious business
Mm-hmm.
and you're
Yes.
helping organizations.